Going on, everybody? This Afro think tank. I just finished listening to Desaline Nefakari's reaction to O'Shea Duke Jackson talking shit about Pan-Africanism, and he made a very, very good point. First of all, his whole video was cooking. He was cooking. I know he was cooking the way y'all wanted me to cook, but like I told you before, right? But the biggest point that he made was he said the word ethno-nationalist, right? Because O'Shea wants to blame all the problems of Africa on Pan-Africanism, which makes no fucking sense, because Pan-Africanism is an ideology of unification. So any leader, like I just posted a video showing you what real Pan-Africans and Africa is doing, because Africa's a massive ass continent, a lot of shit going on, right? And all that tribalism that people like FBA talk about and ADOS, that's ethno-nationalism. FBA is a ethno-nationalistic movement, just like those East Africans who are ethno-nationalist, meaning they're nationalists to their ethnicity, meaning they only care about their ethnicity. They don't care about their race. They care about their ethnicity. They're tribalist. The same shit FBA be talking about. Oh, that's what they do. Because FBA is a group of African Americans that don't care about black people globally. They don't care about their race. They only care about their specific group of North American Africans that's in America. That's the only thing they care about. That's their priority. And just like Nefakari Desaline said, and just like I've been saying in so many different ways, that's weak shit. If you are ethno-national, you're weak. You know who else is ethno-national? Neo-Nazis. You know who else is ethno-national? The KKK. You know who else is ethno-national? Evangelical Christians. That's ethno-nationalism. You know who else is ethno-nationalist? Russia, Ukraine, and all of Europe. That's what they do. They don't value their European heritage as a group. They only value their particular European groups within their geographical area. That's their priority. And they will say fuck it to everything else on behalf of that one thing, which is weak, and that's why they're falling. That's why FBA and ADOS and all these dumbass movements, they're going nowhere. Because anybody who ever tried to push an ethno-national movement has always failed, because you're weak and ineffective. You can't do shit. You can't create allies because your enemies is bigger than you. And you disrespect and you disregard anybody who could possibly be your allies. You see, like I said in my other video, we still got coons in Africa, Afropeans. We still got people who prioritize Arabism especially in East Africa. We still got a whole group of African leaders who are half Arab, and they value Arabness, Arab nationalism, over their blackness. That's literally what's happening in Sudan. All right? Y'all keep saying, don't forget about Sudan. Sudan is a bunch of black Arabs who value their Arab language, because Arab itself is just a language speaking group. It's not a group, or it's not even a race. There's no such thing as an Arab race. It's just a bunch of people speaking the same language. All right? They value those desert nomads over their African people. And as long as you got a bunch of little groups that value their small ass ineffective groups and fight each other, the greater group can always come in and dominate. They can always come in and manipulate the dividing lines between these ethno-nationalists. There's never in the history of the black world an ethno-nationalist group ever been successful at conquering or fixing their situation. Pan-Africanism is unity. Pan-Africanism, becoming one. Pan-Africanism is community. Pan-Africanism is remembering who you were before the white man came and drew those fucking lines. Before them Arabs came over and drew them fucking lines and gave you a goddamn language that ain't yours. And gave you a bunch of last names that ain't yours. And gave you a bunch of culture that's not yours. While those people over there in East Africa worshiping fucking Arabs and shit. Right? Why you got the Muslims worshiping Arab, not even worshiping and being Muslims, worshiping Arabism. Why you got a bunch of Hebrew Israelites trying to be something that never even existed, instead of being black Africans. That's the problem. That's why the Hebrew Israelites, as big and organized as they are, they ain't never going to be able to do shit, because they can't get past their ethno-nationalism. Even the Christians in America who got something against the Muslims and the Hebrew Israelites, you ain't never going to get past their ethno-nationalism, because it keeps you small and ineffective. It's all about black African. My gang is big. Pan-Africanism is big. We global. Pan-African. Global black African. My gang is bigger than yours, stronger than yours, got more resources than yours. I got supply lines because I'm a Pan-African. Ethno-nationalism, they ain't got no Pan-African. They ain't got no supply lines. And it's just not exclusive to black people. Asian people got ethno-nationalism. All right? Them goddamn people from Hong Kong don't like those people from Beijing, even though they're both Chinese. That's ethno-nationalism. Taiwan, those Chinese people, they went and took a whole island and said, fuck the rest of the mainland. That's ethno-nationalism. Y'all, so people who talk shit about Pan-Africanism, they either enemies of Pan-Africanism because they don't care about black unity, because they're more interested in their ethno-nationalism, because they got small minds, small thinking minds, or they're just that fucking stupid. And they can't comprehend a simple concept of black unity, African unity. Which one you want to be? You want to be a weak-ass, ineffective-ass ethno-nationalist? Like the Nazis? Like the Klan? Like them boys, Mr. J? But Mr. J, the most successful ethno-nationalist, and even they about to go the fuck down, because ain't nobody like their ass because of the shit that they do. Or you can be a Pan-African, rising with the rest of the black African world, having access to the rest of the black African world, being able to love and be loved on by the rest of the black African world. And if some shit go down with your people, you can always go to your cousins, and your cousins and them will come over and back you up. How about that? That's Pan-Africanism. So anyway, Neferkari Desalina had me going. I've been waiting for a couple days for that shit. I said, this dude, he's supposed to crank his video out before mine. I've been going to this channel and shit. Where yeah, there it is. I saw that shit. I was like, yeah, I'm watching that shit. I'm watching that. Hell yeah. He should. I was really wishing he would give me like 30, 40 minutes. But he gave me a strong like 11, 12 minutes. I'll take it. And he said what he had to say, and it was very effective. Quick, fast, and to the point. Anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comment sections. Afro Think Tank, learn some, teach some. I'm out.
First of all, nationalism has always been a myth. And it was recognized to be a myth centuries ago. I mean, you can read about it in Adam Smith. He wrote a book, as everybody knows, called Wealth of Nations. But he also pointed out that it's nonsense. There's no such notion. That the policies he was speaking mostly about England, and he said, look, the policies that are carried out in England, of the English government, are determined by what he called the principal architects, who in his day were the merchants and manufacturers of England. And he said they doesn't use state power to enrich themselves, to ensure that their own interests are most peculiarly attended to, as he put it, however grievous the impact on the people of England. So in other words, it's a class policy. I mean, yes, the nation is mobilized, but in class interests, the interests of the people who own the society. Well, what was obvious to Adam Smith ought to be obvious to us. And it would be if we didn't have it beaten out of our heads, because it's a truism. I mean, a 10-year-old would be able to figure it out if they just thought about the world for a second. So it takes, again, a good education to drive these things out of your head. But it's obviously true what Adam Smith regarded. He didn't make a big fuss about this because it's so obviously true, he just mentioned it. But it was obviously true then. It's much more obviously true now. But it's true that populations are mobilized in support of the interests of the principal architects of policy who own the societies constantly. That's why countries go to war, That's why they follow destructive domestic policies. And, constructive nationalism can react against that. It can, in fact, it doesn't have to be hostile to other nationalisms. It can be cooperative with it. People do fall together in one or another kind of grouping. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no reason why one or another of those groupings has to be hostile to another one. They can recognize that there are interests that cut across them, and they can try to cooperate with those who have the same interests within another grouping, another nationality. For common, like American workers and Mexican workers have basically the same interests. They can both work within their national entities, to develop policies which will be cooperative and supportive. The other side of the class war. I mean, there's nothing good or bad about nationalism. It depends how it's used.
Anything that don't help me grow. Fake friends, shiesty hoes, I'm letting all that bullshit go. No negative energy on my ship, giving as much energy as I can give. You niggas got too many needs, y'all be fucking up my peace. Oh.
nobody trying to argue with you all damn day, bro. Shut the fuck up. Damn.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.